Asking why work towards an NPM certificate?
Well, it provides a set of standards that can help shape the various aspects of formation, in this case, Cantor formation, regardless of a person's background or experience or skill level. And it's a way of affirming a Cantor's mastery of the core knowledge and skills that are part of the ministry, as well as the spiritual mindset and commitment to the ministry.
Another question that we get asked a lot is, do you have to be an NPM member to earn a certificate? Does anyone want to answer this one?
So yes, you do have to be a member in good standing with NPM, and also in the organist side with the dual certifications, you have to also be a member in good standing with the AGO organization.
Who are the certificate programs aimed at? Meaning, do you have to be a certain age or experience level to attain one?
It might be a little different for all three of these. I know with pianists, we don't necessarily have a minimum age, but you should be able to play the instrument well enough to meet the standards of the basic certification. That's probably the best way to do it. We have had youth that have come through, college age students, very, very popular. But we have a lot of high schoolers who play for their churches as well. And this is a good way to give them something to aim for, to something to work for. It gives them a purpose to hone their skills and maybe a little direction in what they're doing. So
my last question for the good of the group before we break into a little bit more information is, how do I find help while preparing for any of the certificate exams?
Cantor certificates, we have a certificate administrator for each of the three levels of certification, and they are available. They reach out to applicants, and they're available every step of the way. And for the Cantor colleague level, there's also a separate mentor assigned to help applicants prepare for the colleague liturgy exam.
So for the organ side, materials are available on the NPM website. To go to the AGO website, where you will find the requirements for the AGO section. The American Guild of Organists also provides materials that you can order from them. They're online also to help you prepare for the exams. And same with the colleague exam, since it's the same exam, liturgy exam that the cantors take, you are assigned a mentor to prepare yourself for that liturgical exam. And I also would encourage people to reach out to their teachers and to those that have experience in certification, and someone that can help you to prepare for that in lesson time and practice time. So I encourage that also.
With the piano, we, being the most recent of the three certifications, we are not set up yet to have specific mentors assigned to people. But what Kristen just said was absolutely true for pianists as well. We encourage you to reach out to the community, reach out within your archdiocese or diocese, and to whatever other musicians are there that might be able to help you, especially if it's an NPM member who's gone through certification already, or veteran liturgical musicians that have been doing this a long time and might have some insight and some ways to help you. We strongly encourage that, of course.
As I transition over to Kristen DeBogian about organ certificates. So Kristen, thank you for being with us today to talk about the various levels of organ certificates. I'm going to start the same way I asked Gail and Bill. What are the different organ certificates that you can currently achieve with NPM?
Okay, so the organ certificates, there are three opportunities for our organists to be certified. The first one is the basic organ certificate, which is given exclusively by NPM. And it's just an affirmation for our organists to be able to play through a liturgy. So it's they have to choose two pieces of their own, one which will include a pedal part, hymn playing, psalm, mass setting, hymn tunes. I said that already. Yes. So that's the basic organ certificate. And then the next two certificates that are offered are dual certificates with NPM and the American Guild of Organists. The first being the service playing certificate, which is offered in like sort of the next level, like intermediate level. And when someone applies for the service playing, they'll go to the AGO website and look up the certification. There are specific pieces or specific sections where you'll have to choose the things that are required just for NPM. And that's found in that document. And then the third certification, which is a more advanced level, is the colleague exam, the CAGO, which is also a joint with NPM and AGO. And that portion is a playing portion done through AGO, and a liturgical portion, which is the same written exam that is given to the cantors.
Can we spend a little bit of time and maybe even go to the AGO website and talk about where we can find the information for the AGO portion of the dual certification? And I'm going to share my screen, Kristen, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So when you go to the AGO website, you go under the education bar and then go down to certification, and you'll find underlined in the red, the service playing certification and the colleague certification, which are the two dual certifications with NPM. So under each one, yeah, Amanda, if you wouldn't mind maybe clicking on it. There's a little video that'll explain how you can apply. The service playing is just, the only application is just done through AGO alone. You do not have to apply through NPM. Just when you're applying for the certification, that you make sure that you choose NPM as your dual certification. And then if you go down onto I think there's the repertoire, you're going to see I
think it's up here.
There's
I think it's the professional certification requirements,
which is actually all of them in one.
Yes, it is.
All the pages of all of them. So you're just going to scroll down to which certification that you're. So under here, service playing requirements. Just for an example, if you go onto Group C, if you wouldn't mind scrolling just a little bit, you'll see that it says the candidate seeking NPM certification will have to choose certain works. So you just have to go through each of these letters to make sure that you're selecting things that are required specifically for NPM. So this is for the service playing and also for the colleague. There are NPM specific things that need to be chosen for those certificates.
And there is an area here too that explains the AGO NPM joint certification on this document as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And the dates for those examinations are also, the nice thing about the service playing certification is that you have a kind of a longer window to take that exam. But the colleague exam is only 2 dates, so one in, I think, November, and then in May. They're offered 2 times, once in the fall and once in spring. There's only 2 specific dates that you can take.
So yeah, let's talk about that really quickly. So when can you audition for the different levels of organs? So we've talked about the dual a little bit. What about like the basic and then the service playing and then the CAGO?
Well, the basic also, it's your preparation is a year preparation. So it all depends again on how, by looking at your repertoire list, how much you're already prepared for it or how much you need to prepare for it. So, that can take several months. But the further you go, as the colleague examination is going to take a little bit more preparation because the repertoire is more difficult. There's more involved. So there's studying as far as improvisation and harmonization. And there are choral anthems that there's more keyboard skill preparation for that. So that's going to take a little bit longer time, and including preparing for the liturgical exam, which will also take some studying time for that.
So similar to the colleague cantor certificate that we talked about earlier, the colleague AGO exam or the CAGO exam, in order for it to be dual certification with NPM, also has a liturgy exam, correct?
Yes, which is the same one that the cantors take. Yes, correct.
Right. And how often a year is that offered, the liturgy portion?
The liturgy is offered twice as well. I believe in January and June. The dates are on there. So there are two dates for you to choose from.
So Kristen, it would be okay if I'm working towards the CAGO dual certification to do something like the liturgy exam in January and then do the audition portion, the organ portion in May or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Whichever you're prepared for first. I know a lot of times people take the AGO portion first, which is in the fall, and then they'll take the liturgical exam in the springtime. But whatever, is more comfortable for the candidate.
How do I audition for these different levels? The basic, the service playing, and then the colleague.
So the basic organ certification will be recorded in your home parish, and just a proctor will be assigned to you, someone that will record that audition, and it will be played front to back without stopping. We have in the past offered it live at the conventions, which we hope to be continuing to do that in the future, which is a great experience because it gives the candidate an opportunity to play an organ or an instrument that they haven't been able to do before, which we sometimes experience in our ministries by going to different parishes and playing on different instruments. So that's a great experience. And as far as AGO exams, they are also recorded. They're just audio recordings. When you apply for that certification, you will be in contact with your local exam coordinator, who will then get you in touch with the parish and the church that you will be doing that actual exam. I'm actually serve as one of those exam coordinators for the Metropolitan chapter here in New Jersey. So I've had the opportunity to proctor that, and we just set up the practice time and the audition time, and same thing. It's all recorded and sent to AGO. And the adjudicators there will always be one that is a member of NPM, so that you'll be having that as an adjudicator for your exam.
So that's very interesting in terms of the organ certificates, is that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the basic and the service playing, you apply through NPM, or is it the basic you apply through NPM and then the service playing and colleague you apply through AGO?
That's great to clarify, Amanda. So the NPM the basic certification is just applied exclusively through NPM. The service playing is applied just through AGO. You do not need to have a separate application for NPM because it'll be checked off on the application when you do that. But there is, for the colleague exam, you need to apply both to AGO, and there is also an application for NPM to fill out because of the liturgical portion. So you will need to do a dual application for the colleague exam.
So I'm sure that this question probably only applies to the basic, because as you mentioned, anything with the dual certification with AGO would require kind of being in person at a specific location that would be coordinated. But is there an instrument requirement for submitting an organ audition? So number of manuals, number of ranks, does it have to be a full pedal board? What does that look like?
There are no requirements as far as digital or pipe organ for the basic certification. Just one that on audio we're able to distinguish registrations. So it's always, I guess, to be able to have two manual instrument so that you have different choices of registrations. As far as the AGO, you are encouraged to play on a pipe organ. If that is a complication, there have been times where there have been permissions given for digital or hybrid instruments, but it is generally required to have a pipe organ as your instrument for the exam. Not so much number of ranks, but just quickly that we do have to provide that information as when you take the exam, the name of the instrument, the builder, the number of ranks, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Is it okay if I share my screen one more time and we can show where to find that information about finding the location for the exam?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, great.
So again, you're clicking first onto the education link and then to certification, and then it'll pop up there, service playing and colleague.
And then is it also exam locations as well?
I believe that will show the names of all of the locations.
Yes. So that could also be just to give people maybe who are in rural areas an idea of where it would be offered in their area.
Yeah, yes. But
Okay.
when you apply, it will go to your local chapter and to the exam coordinator, and they will get in touch with you to set up your times.
Is there anything else I missed? Anything you want to point out regarding all the certificate levels?
I don't believe so. I think I just encourage people to do them. I mean, to have self-growth and continuing education is important in our ministries. So I really encourage people to go for it.
As I wrap up, I want to share my screen one more time so that I can walk you through, as you watch this video, where to find more information about all the certificate programs that we just spoke about. They are all available on the NPM website, and I will share my screen just one more time. From here, from npm.org, you go down to the formation area and then choose certificates. From here, you will find the information for cantors, pianos, and organ certificates. And they will be all right here in their respective tabs in terms of study guides, as Gail mentioned, for the cantor certificates, rubrics, as Bill mentioned, and repertoire suggestions for piano, and then information about all three levels, including the AGO information that Kristen mentioned for organ certificates. If you need any support as you begin to work towards a certificate, contact information for support is in there as well.